Welcome to another episode of Racer Interviews. We're out here at the beautiful McMahon Ranch in Smithville, Texas. If you missed the last episode of Racer Interviews, click this link to check it out. There were some pretty epic interviews, especially right at the end with Casey. All right, we're gonna change it up a little bit this time. We're not gonna be interviewing racers. We're gonna be interviewing moto moms and moto dads. All right, let's go put those moto parents on the hot seat. All right, we're out here with the Hart family and they have their son racing. And so how long has he been racing for?
We started in TORCS. Last year was our first full year in TORCS. The year before we only did 2 races. He's been racing, I guess, since 2021 total, but we only did a couple motocross races in 2021 as well.
Okay, and he's doing 65?
50.
50B.
50B? All right, those kids are fast. So how did you guys get into moto?
So I started out motocross racing in middle school probably, and took a little break when we moved to Houston, and then whenever he was born, we started into motocross and then found out about the TORCS group here. So happy to be a part of that too and split the time.
Does he prefer moto or cross country?
Both.
Both?
Yep.
Okay. And so, as you guys know, the kids grow up real fast, so we're constantly as parents replacing bikes and shirts, jerseys, pants, boots. How do you guys deal with the constant replacement?
So Kyler this year we got a sponsorship from FXR, so he gets a little bit of a discount with FXR. And then like his last pair of boots, they were like on motosport.com, like the ones that were on like 54% off. And I'm like, that's the color you're getting, bud, because you go through so much moto gear so fast. So it's not like, definitely try to apply for sponsorships because you never know what you may get. We only applied for one. We got it. It was great. We're going to probably apply again this year for some for next year, just maybe so we can get a few more and get a little bit of discount here or there. So I definitely suggest checking it out.
Okay, great. All right, so he's going up to a 65 soon. We don't know if it's going to be next year or the year after. This is kind of like a fantasy question. So money is no object. Would you go Cobra 65, YZ 65, or one of the Austrian bikes 65?
We'll probably go KTM, possibly Cobra. We did bring his Cobra out this weekend. He rides it on motocross normally, but he is really liking how it rides, and he's thinking he might want to get a 65 Cobra if they have one available.
Okay, great.
So I'll add to that. He does have a 65 right now. It is a KTM. It's a 2022, but he's rode it a few times, not a whole lot. So he may stick with that one year too. Never know.
Okay, I know a lot of kids like the hydraulic clutch on the KTMs.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something we're working through and trying to get it tuned in. We did put a fresh clutch in last weekend. We were going to plan to bring the bike this weekend. However, we just left it back behind for next month maybe.
Okay. So I know a lot of parents kind of go between safety, like lots of safety equipment, and then that being restrictive on riding. So how do you guys deal with that? Like I know there's big controversy over neck braces and all that. How do you guys deal with that?
We initially were using the neck brace on him when he was younger and kind of learning the skill set that he needed to possess. And then when we started getting a little bit better on our abilities, we removed that neck brace just because it was limiting his ability to look down the track and ripped up his head. And so we removed that, and I think it's helped strengthen his neck a little bit and then also give him some more vision down the trail. Okay,
great. All right, so how do you guys handle maintenance and washing the bike? Do you get them involved?
Yeah, so we normally load everything up and end up doing that at home. But yeah, I do get him out and help us wash the bikes, let him do the power washers as long as he can hold on to it, and then he'll help me. He helped me change the oil the other day in his bike and the air filter, and so we're trying to get him into the basic 101, but normally I pull most of the maintenance.
So how many times do you get sprayed every wash?
At least a few. Yeah.
Okay, so there's lots of different kids in the sport, obviously. There's people who are like back of the pack, front of the pack. How do you as a family and with your son define success in this sport?
So we try to take him to training here and there, and one of the things that we always try to tell him is utilize the tools that the trainers had taught you at the last session he had. For example, this race, we went out there knowing it's a lot of flat grass track, go fast, throttle control in the straightaways or in the flat area and the turns, utilizing your braking and doing that. And so that was, when the starting line, that's what I told him. I was like, these are things I want you to go out there and do. Let's do those successfully. It doesn't matter what place you get at the end of the day. We want to use what we've been learning, because it does no good for us to go train and not turn around and use it on the track.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you got a lot going on in your head. I don't know, I don't race, but I'm sure it's hard because you're trying to remember everything you learn as you're out there and, utilize it. So.
Anything to add to that, Shelby?
Yeah, so, the first year he started racing, he was mid to back of the pack, and so we're just out here telling him it's a good time to get out here and have some fun. And then there'd be times whenever I would get a trophy and he would ask if we could just share trophies, and so Dad had to loan his trophy over to him, but it doesn't really work that way now whenever I don't get a trophy and he gets a trophy, So
he doesn't want to share.
I love that.
But at the end of the day, we just always tell him to go have fun, because when you're not having fun, it's not worth coming out here anymore.
Absolutely. All right, last question. So he's on the line and you're standing next to him, you're whispering into his ear, or shouting with all those 50s revving. What's the last thing you say to him?
You're on the line, I'm not.
No, what I say, good luck, be safe, and ride smart.
All right, love it. All right, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
We're out here with Craig, who's also a moto dad. He's got 2 kids that ride and 1 kid that races. So how long have they been riding for?
About 2 years.
Okay. And what got them into moto in the first place?
Me. So when I started riding again, they wanted to get back on bikes, so I got on bikes, and I'm still on my first bike, and my son's on his 5th, I believe, and my daughter's on her 4th, something like that.
That's a great segue for the next question. So the kids grow like weeds, right? With bikes and with gear. How do you handle that?
Well, luckily my daughter's done growing now. She's 5'8", so she's finally stopped. My son, he wore his old gear until it was way too small, and we bought the next set just a little bit bigger, and hopefully this will hold him for a little while. Bikes, it was just skill level and size, and luckily we buy everything used and sell used, so it comes out in a wash.
Yeah, we're the same way, used all the way.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I found his 85 new. Now the 65 was new in a crate, but we bought it from a private sale guy, so it was basically used but new. It was kind of lucked out on that.
That's nice.
All right, so we got different sides of the spectrum as far as safety gear. Some parents are like less safety gear, more technique. Other parents would rather wrap them in a bubble. Where do you fall on that?
We go with the, good helmet, good boots, chest protector, and knee pads. The rest, we don't really do the neck brace, and they're not fast enough to need it just yet.
So regarding maintenance and washing the bike, how do you guys handle that?
Unfortunately, it's mostly me, but I try to get them to do some of it. But yeah, it's mostly Dad's mechanic.
Okay, I'm pretty similar. When they help out with the washing, I get wet a lot.
Yeah, they just have so much going on with school that when I've got free time, I take care of all of it.
Okay, so there's a lot of fast kids in moto, there's slower kids. I know you guys do moto as well as cross country. So how do you define success in this sport?
Smiles. So that's pretty much it. So my son out here, he's back of the pack, but each race he's getting closer to, we gauge his distance and time from the mid-pack guys. That's kind of how but as long as he's having fun and we get to spend time with friends and family, and that's what we're here for.
I love it. All right, last question. So you're on the line, they're doing the starts in front of you or the classes in front of you, and it comes up to your class. What's the last thing you whisper into his ear?
Get it.
All right. Well, thanks for the interview.
No, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
We're out here with Sarah, who is a moto mom, and she has a son who's riding in 65B, right?
Yes, 65B.
Okay, how long has he been riding for?
Since he was 4.
Okay. Now, do you ride, or is it just your husband that rides?
Just my husband. I tried to ride, and I couldn't do it. I tried to race, I have fun just having fun.
Great. I love it. All right. What got your son into moto in the first place?
Probably his father. His father used to race when he was younger and then took a break. And then as soon as I found out I was pregnant, it sparked that passion for riding. And Samuel would ride around with William on a little baby Bjorn in the yard. So
Love that.
That just got him hooked.
Okay, great. Now, he rides moto and cross country. Is that right?
For a period we did. Yes, we took a break from moto because it's intense.
Okay, so does he prefer cross country?
I think so. I think he does.
Okay. Now, next question. So we all know that the kids are growing like weeds. They outgrow clothing, boots, helmets, bikes. How do you guys deal with the ever-changing growth and just needing new stuff all the time?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because we just got him new gear because he was a size 22, bumped him up to a size 24, but they're still too big. And we got this new, I guess it's the 2024 fly gear where it has the, what do you call it, the twisty on the back where it cinches the waist.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
So we got him that and it fits perfectly because you can cinch the waist. But then I think we got a year or two ago gear and with the Velcro waistband, still doesn't fit him.
Okay.
So
yeah, my kids are the same way.
it's one of those where you have to wear the same gear 2 days in a row. And then the boots, we get Samuel's probably going to be mad at me. The Tech 7s, the All-Star?
Yeah, the Alpine Stars.
Alpine Stars.
Yeah.
Tech 7s because it's got the soles, so we can make those last longer. So that's how we do it.
Yeah, we were doing the cheap boots, but we've switched over to the Alpine Stars as well. You can kind of get 2 sizes out of them.
Yes, you can. Samuel's only rule is, though, you have to buy a new helmet. No hand-me-down helmets. You can do hand-me-down boots, gear, jersey pants, but helmets has to be new.
I like that rule. All right, so, okay, next question. So tell us, does he take part in the maintenance at all with his dad or you, or cleaning, washing? How do you guys handle that?
Samuel is starting to introduce William into doing all the mechanics of it. He washes his bike, he can lube his chain, but now getting into the motor, Sam's starting to introduce him to that. I know how to change the oil, I know how to change the filter, of course put gas in the bike, and I can load it up into the back of a bed of a truck or in a trailer, because sometimes it's just me hauling them around.
All right. Yeah, it sounds like he's a lot more involved than I am. I got my kids to change the oil, and I can get them to wash the bike, but much beyond that, I'm like, yeah, they don't like to help too much.
Well, the motor is complicated. It's intense, so you have to really be consistent with it to know how to work it. I don't even know how to understand the mechanics of the bike, so...
All right, so next question. If I know some parents, if they could wrap their kids in a bubble, they would. Others are on the other extreme where they just want them to be free and loose on the bike. How do you guys handle the safety aspect of it?
Oh, we just constantly preach to William, be smart, ride safe, because ultimately it's him on the bike, you know? So, you know, he's taken a few spills, had 1 concussion. So, and I think that's kind of made him more cautious. But I'm the one who wants to wrap him in a bubble. Sam says, if you're not bleeding, if it's not broken, you're fine.
If I could wrap my kids, I would too.
Yes.
Okay, so lots of different kids out there at all different skill levels, and we just know that there's really fast kids, there are non-fast kids. So how do you guys work with him to find success, like for a season or a race?
We try to not have him compare himself to other riders because, like you said, there are really fast riders out there who are very skilled. So if he tries to compare himself to those riders, he's just going to get upset and defeated. So we just tell him, okay, you just need to focus on you. Okay, oh, you realize that your feet weren't right? All right, let's work on that. Don't try to keep up with the fast riders because you can ultimately get hurt.
I love that answer. Okay, last question. You're on the line, or Samuel's on the line. What's the last thing you say into his ear right before he's about to start?
We say our prayers, And then we tell them, be safe, have fun, ride smart.
All right, love that. Well, thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
All right, we're out here with John, and he has a son who rides in the TORCS series, and I believe he's pretty new in this series, right?
Yes, sir, he is. His first race was kind of rough. I don't remember the track, but it's when we had those dirt clods, those big old, I don't know if you remember that track. They were dropping me. Yeah, so it was pretty rough on him. He said he didn't like it. He's like, why are you racing me? But now he wants to get back into it. I told him that was a rough, pretty track. So
I did the practice lap on that track, and then I was like, I'm not doing the race, because that was the first one back after my injury, so I decided not to do it.
Yeah, for sure. You got to slow down when you're injured.
How long has he been riding for?
About 2.5 years. Started out on a PW50 with training wheels, and about 4 days on those, he was ready to rock and roll.
Okay, great. So what really got him into moto? Was it you or something else?
Yeah, definitely me. I always wanted to ride and race when I was his age, but my parents weren't financially there, right? They did finally get me one when I was about 10, and I broke my foot pretty bad, and they pulled me out of it. Okay. Fast forward now, I got back into it, and of course he sees me, so he wants to do like Dad.
Great. All right, so we all know the kids grow like weeds, and they're just outgrowing bikes and clothes, so how do you deal with all of that?
Man, I try to look sometimes people that are giving away stuff on the TORCS. If not, I just go to TJ Cycles or look online, see if you can find stuff like that. Buy it a little bit bigger, not too much bigger, but yeah. Yeah.
Great. All right, so we all know there's different levels in this sport, like really good kids, slower kids. How do you as a family define success in this sport?
Having fun, seeing the smile on their face, getting to make those memories with them. Teach them a little bit competitive, but kind of leave that on the back burner for now just so they can learn technique and all that good stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's about spending time with them.
Okay.
I just want to choke up just thinking about it.
Great. Yeah. Some parents lean on the side where they want to wrap their kids up in a bubble, and some just kind of let them free ride and learn really good technique. Where do you land on that?
Definitely letting them learn technique. He had a pretty bad fall at one point in time, and I told him that's because you're sitting down, you're going too fast. You got to stand up, and you got to let your elbows and your knees act as a suspension. And he's like, what's a suspension? So then, of course, I had to take him to the bike and show him how it compresses and how that all works together. So he's catching on.
Yeah, sounds like that was a good lesson.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Okay, last question. You're on the starting line, talking to him, doing whatever. What's the last thing you say to him before each race?
100% throttle. When you see a straightaway, give it as much gas as you can. Yeah,
gas it out. There you go.
Yeah, and then around turns, you gotta work on that technique we've been talking about coming into the turns. Tell them that turns is what wins the race. Anybody can gas it straight away, but yeah.
All right, John. Thanks for the interview.
You're welcome.
All right, we're out here with Ryan, who has 2 kids racing. How old are your kids, and what are they racing?
I got a boy who's 5. He races junior beginner, and my daughter is 12 and races women's C.
Okay, great. How long have they been riding for?
This is their first season actually racing. We started, we got them out to the New Year's event, the Wild Hare.
Yeah.
And they both loved it. We're members of ZARS, so we did a lot of, just outdoor riding, but they wanted to get in the racing. So this is our first season with them racing.
Oh, great. Sounds fun. All right, so what got the kids into cross-country riding?
I think just riding in general. My wife and I used to do it back in like 2011, 2012 when I was still in the service. And my buddies, we moved to San Antonio, and my buddies were all riding. I was like, hey, can we get dirt bikes again? And she said yes. And then everything just kind of fell into place from there. And we started, we bought the girls, trail bikes, like 140 KLRs or KLXs. And it all started from there and just kind of trickled down. And Troy got to the age where he was on an electric little bicycle, and he went up to an OSET MX-10, and now he's on an electric 50. So
great. We all know that the kids grow like weeds. They're outgrowing bikes, they're outgrowing gear. How do you guys specifically deal with that?
Yeah, if it's too small, obviously they say, hey, my boots are too small, we have to get them new boots. That's been a real struggle. Troy being 5, we seem to be going through boots. The biggest thing is shoe size, right? Boots. So just every 6 months to 7 months, it seems like we're getting new boots. But we got the Alpine Stars. We didn't know this, but they actually have like an insert it goes from like, I think 12 to a 13 or 12 and a half to a 13. So that helped. That got, instead of 6 months, it got us, almost a year out of them. So that's how we would deal with that. So
That's a very popular answer, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
All right, next question. So money is no object. He's going to go up to a 65 soon, or in probably about 4 years. Are you going to go with the Yamaha, the YZ65, KTM, Austrian 65, or the Cobra 65?
That's a funny question because we just got him on the Husqvarna E50, and it literally comes down to their kids, right? So we say, hey, what color you want? So really, when Layla went from the 140, we're like, okay, we're going to get 85, and I put on the screen, KTM, Husqvarna, and gas. Obviously, I'm a KTM guy, so I was like, what color do you want? She's like, oh, I want gas. I want red. And then my little boy watches YouTube, a family in Australia, and he was on a Husky, so he really wanted a Husky as his next bike. So it came down to color again. They're all the same, for the most part. So
great, love that answer. Yeah. You guys don't have to do much maintenance on the electric bike, but on your other one, how do you guys deal with maintenance and washes and everything? Is it you doing most of the work, or you try to get the kids helping out?
It's me doing most of the work. Layla does really good with helping me unpack and stuff like that, and she'll come out sometimes to help wash. But I gotta say, the most vintage one, that most high maintenance, is probably the 85, Layla's bike. So it's always something. It's always something that really helped. We put we're not like crazy pro, so I got sick of jetting. So I put Bilotron carburetor on it, and it has been absolutely amazing. And she loves riding, so it works. So
smart move. Now you can go to Colorado.
Yeah, and or the weather changed or whatever, and she made a comment, that she likes riding. So she, before it was off on and Fallon plugs, stuff like that, and no issues since we switched to that. Now it's been over a year now.
Now on the topic of personal protection, I know some parents are on the side of the pendulum where it's like let them be free and just train them, and some would rather wrap them in a bubble. Where do you land on that?
I like protection. Layla was just actually like in a full Liat with the built-in neck brace, and she recently just changed out of that. I felt she was mature enough to change out of that. And Troy, he has the knee pads, and he wears like a motocross vest. It reminds me of like a rodeo vest. Yeah. So and I think that works really well. I've seen it work. So yeah, my kids have, my daughter wears, she's 12, but she wears, knee braces. That's one thing that took me off my bike in 2011 was a really bad knee injury from not wearing knee braces or knee protection. So I'm big on protection. Great.
I like that answer too. All right, so we got all these kids out here, and there's all at different levels. Even within the classes, you got fast riders, slower riders. So how do you guys define success in this sport?
Really, I don't really push the kids. My daughter just naturally got into it, and my son, started out riding at Czars with me and my buddies and grew from there. And, if he comes out and they both have smiling faces, I say smiley face, but smiling faces, and they enjoy it, I enjoy watching them. If they get 5th, 6th, 2nd, 1st, it's all fun. Yeah, it's cool when they go up on the podium and they call their name out. That's enjoyable, I think, for anybody. But success is getting back on the bike after a crash, if you can, and continuing. So
great. All right, last question. So you guys are on the line. You're ready for them to start, and you're saying whatever to them. What's the last thing you say to them?
Have fun and be safe.
Awesome. Love that answer. All right, thank you.
No worries. Thanks.
All right, we're out here with Kelly, who is a moto mom. And so how long has your son been riding for?
Since he was 5, so about 10 years.
10 years, wow. And he does moto and cross country, right?
Yes.
Okay, which one's his favorite?
Probably more cross country, woods.
How did he get into moto in the first place?
I used to take him to watch my cousin Nathan Gertz ride, and so he always wanted to go, and then decided he was going to get a bike when he turned 5.
I didn't realize Nathan was your cousin.
Yeah.
I interviewed him at Let's Ride Ranch.
Yes, that's my cousin.
All right, cool. So the kids, they grow like weeds.
Yes.
They outgrow their bikes. They outgrow their gear. So how do you guys handle that?
His first bike I wanted to hang from the ceiling as decoration, but his dad wouldn't let me. So that's.
But do you like try to get stuff on discount, or are you trying to like? How often are you guys replacing gear throughout the years?
You know, it's not too bad. He always gets like boots a little bigger, so we're doing pretty good on that.
Okay, cool. All right. So as far as safety gear, some parents go like to the side of the pendulum where they want to wrap their kids up in a bubble. Some parents are more like, no, just focus on the technique. Less safety gear is better. Where do you guys swing on that?
If it were up to me, I'd wrap him in a bubble, but we definitely make him wear a helmet, chest protector, boots, all times, or I'll sell it on the spot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of riders in the sport, like fast riders, slower riders, medium pace riders. How do you guys determine success in the sport?
I think just seeing him at the checkered flag in one piece, success.
I like that answer. Yes, I'm probably the same way with my kids when they ride. All right, so how do you guys handle cleaning, bike cleaning and maintenance? Does your son do all of that stuff?
He does. His daddy does it a lot with him, but he does make him help. Definitely washing bikes with his daddy.
And have you ever washed any bikes?
No. Princess.
Okay, all right. So who's usually with him on the line? Is it you or his dad?
He quit letting me be on the line with him because I always tell him, let's go slow, keep it on 2 wheels. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. He's like, can you go wait now?
I was just going to ask you, what do you say to him? So
That's what I say.
Okay. And he wants to win, of course, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's all the questions. So thanks for, that's all the questions. Thanks for letting me interview you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Love your videos.
All right, we're out here with Brad, who has a couple kids racing. And so just tell me about how long they've been riding for.
Yeah, I got 2 and a friend that races with us. And so my oldest is 9, and Zeke, and he's been racing for 4 years, over 4 years now. It'll be year 5 once we get to Christmas. And then Zeke's friend, Demir, and Zeke's sister, Aubrey, who's 6, they just started racing this year.
Okay, so you're a moto dad and you're like a moto uncle too.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So with the other kid, you pretty much take care of all his stuff, like maintenance and everything?
Yeah. Introduced the sport to him, I guess. He saw his friend Zeke doing it, and he wanted to do it, and I talked to his mom, and I was like, if y'all want to do it, I'll help you find the stuff. So they were game on, and he loves it just as much as Zeke does, so I've been really stoked to have him join us. And yeah, I do the maintenance and whatnot on all the bikes.
Okay, so we'll go with Moto Uncle then on that one. All right, cool. All right, next question. So money's no object. Do you go with a YZ65, Austrian 65, or Cobra 65?
Money's no object?
No object.
It's got to be the Austrian 65. I prefer that name.
Okay, like which brand of Austrian bike?
Oh, it's got to be orange, yeah.
Orange. So do you prefer KTM to Kawasaki?
Oh, you're baiting me here. That's clickbait. Heck no. If Kawasaki made I could do a KX65, I guess, but
so what you're saying is Kawasaki doesn't make a competitive 65?
Nah, we tried it already. We blew a bunch of bottom ends.
Okay, all right. So we all know the kids grow like weeds. They're just growing up so fast, going through gears and bikes. So how do you guys deal with that, like from a financial perspective? How do you stay like ahead of the game and not spending crazy?
That's a good question. I think just being thrifty. I use Facebook Marketplace a lot. Okay. So you find deals on there all the time. You just gotta be patient, and that's where all of our bikes have come from. And then actually our most recent bike, we picked up another TORCS member sold to us for a really good deal, so I was pretty stoked on that. And that's one of the things I love about TORCS is it's just everybody kind of takes care of each other to keep enjoying the sport. So used bikes and a little bit of know-how. I'm a mechanic by trade, so I can save a lot of money there.
Yeah, doing your own maintenance definitely saves a lot.
For sure.
All right, so there's kind of a Chevy versus Ford thing with dirt bikes and safety gear. So some parents are on the side of we want to bubble wrap them. Other parents are on the side of less gear, better technique. Where do you guys fall with that?
I think less gear, better technique for us. I really teach my kids the number one safety is good riding. Not riding over your head. And we used MX Factory. We actually use he's a really good trainer. If you want in-person lessons, it's going to cost you a little bit. He's been doing it a long time, but he's really released a new online program called LearnMXF.com, and we've used that tremendously. We watch a video, 2-3 minute video, go out to a little spot, do some drills, and so far my kids seem to really stayed away from any big injuries and crashes. We haven't broke a bone yet or anything. So
yeah, I know you guys are doing really great with the online training, which is why I wanted to interview you. The number one question that I'm going to have, and probably a lot of listeners are going to have, is how do you get the kids to listen to you? Because my kids won't listen to me.
I take Tyler's videos and I show them real quick while we're changing out or whatever, and my kids basically not paying attention, and I'll pick out one thing that seems like it's important, and then we'll try and run the drill, which he's pretty game for, and usually I'll see something that needs to be worked on, and I'll try and just remember it, like, oh, elbows dropped every time on the left-hand turn or something like that, or sits while braking, and I'll try and address it then, but really it's the long game. You gotta just kind of bring it up a few times. Sometimes I'll have a screenshot of a video of us training, and I'll say, look at this.
Yeah.
And he knows the technique because he's seen the videos. Okay. So he kind of takes a little chip on his shoulder, like, oh, that wasn't me, you know. My son does well with, I guess, a little bit of jesting with him, like poking, making fun, and he likes to give it back too. So that's kind of what we do. And then the only other thing I say is just keep it fun. Sometimes they're going to be pretty miserable trying to do something, and that's definitely an indicator to come up with a different thing. You know, just on the bike's better than nothing. So, you know, maybe a stop and go drill or just little things to kind of make it interesting. Zeke likes to do like these little stop, stand, balance things now. So just simple stuff. Make them, you know, they enjoy the bike. That's how you keep them going.
Great. That's a great answer. Yeah. So you guys have a couple kids. One's in an A rider, one's in junior beginner. So you have all different types of riders. How do you guys measure success in this sport?
Winning's the only option. No. Honestly, I tell them we race to win, right? That's why we come to race. But when it's all said and done, you've brought to the table whatever you brought, and if you're prepared, you're going to do well. If you're not, then that's what it was. It's either winning or learning. So we don't really call it losing. We just call it winning or learning, and that's something we've really adjusted to more as I've gotten into the sport. It's, you know, I think it pushed Zeke kind of hard, my oldest, initially to perform, and it got burdensome a little bit. But then I started riding, remember how hard it was, and then really realized that just keeping it fun and then letting them like see the times when they had a hard race, like what was the number one thing why it was a difficult race. Okay. Starts, or I fell a lot, or, you know, cornering. So we don't really get too results based anymore, and they do pretty well.
All right, I like that, winning or learning. All right, so you're on the line, you're seeing them off to their race. What's the last thing you whisper or say in their ear?
Yeah, you're going to do great. Just, you know, remember what we've been working on. You know, I just give them a little encouragement, pat on the back. Sometimes if there's something tricky that I've noticed in the previous races or something, I might mention it. Like, hey, this hill is really hard to do. Make sure you get speed before it or something, you know. If I see them struggle with something, I'll just keep pointing it out, like as a little tip reminder. But I try to keep it limited because it's too much info on the line. So.
Yeah, I understand the too much info thing, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta just tell them to do awesome.
All right, great. Well, thanks for the interview.
Absolutely.